That's it. So we've got 11 storytellers. Our first round is going to have 4 names. So these names, they're going to go in the hat. And everyone should be muted. And we thank you for being here, both storytellers and audience, and Shweta, our guest judge. And as always, Queen Mary. And the names go in the hat. Slam 2 of season number 6 is upon us. And I'm picking 4 names out. And there are no favorites here. There are the 4 names. And here we go. The first one to tell a story this evening will be Walt. Number 2 will be Emerson. Number 3 will be Marie, who's writing it down. Write your own name down there, Marie. And our 4th will be the lovely Neshama. Again, that's Walt, Emerson, Marie, and Neshama. That'll be section number 1. Section number 2 will have 4 tellers. Section number 3 will have 3. So we do have room for 1 more. I am going to somehow actually stop talking now.
What?
I know.
Are you
And
okay?
I'm going to spotlight Walt Belcher in the great state of Florida. Mary and I are going to stop talking and mute ourselves. And Walt, when you're ready, break a leg, sir.
Okay. Well, one night in the 1990s, I was invited to a corporate box at the Tampa Ice Palace to watch a Lightning hockey game. Now, they had a bar and catered food, and a special treat was all kinds of chocolates from a gourmet chocolate shop in St. Pete. And the owner was a sweet, innocent-looking little old lady. She beamed with pride as she gave us her chocolate hockey pucks, and she said she could cover anything in chocolate. And I said, "What's your best seller?" And without batting an eye, without hesitation, she said, "The chocolate penis." What? The chocolate penis? I didn't bring any tonight. It's not appropriate. She explained that a young bride-to-be came in looking for something different to give to her bridesmaids. She made the mold, she added a popsicle stick and called it Dick on a Stick. It was a hit. Word spread. I don't know if anybody ever ate one of these, she said, but it's just a gag gift. No pun intended. I was speechless. Boom.
All right. Boom, it is.
Boom, it is.
Walt Belcher in the Sunshine State, Queen Mary. Walt's down in the Sunshine State. I am going to, or help me out, Mary, Queen Mary, by unspotlighting the handsome man.
I did.
If we can. And now we're back on you, which is, hey, equally good.
Mm-hmm.
We're not playing favorites here.
No. I am the
Walt,
favorite. We don't have to play favorites.
You're the favorite. A lot of like almost second favorites.
Right.
Show some love if you want. No pressure. Use the chat. We will have an opportunity. There'll be a brief intermission after round 1 before we kick into high gear with round 2. And ultimately our champion, who makes money, by the way. Yes. There's money to be won here. This is a competitive slam, Mary.
It is. We do it right, Sean.
We're going to find Emerson. I believe Emerson's out in California. We can learn more about him later. Emerson, when you are ready, break a leg.
It's a Sunday morning a number of years ago, and I'm sitting in bed. My wife is in the bath, and we're getting ready to go have brunch together. And I am looking at a picture that we took the previous night in a quirky pop-up photo booth, and it's not a good picture. She looks grumpy and tired. I'm leaning toward her in this very needy, unattractive looking way. And it's not a good photo, but my wife is a gorgeous woman. She's very sexy. I find her extremely attractive, even after years of being married, especially this year when we've started having some communication problems. And I think, she always says she doesn't like when other people take her picture because she takes better selfies. She knows her own angles. And I notice her phone is sitting on the bed. And it occurs to me, I wonder if she has some selfies in there. I bet she does. And it's a bit of a moral quandary because should I go in her phone without asking? I don't know. It feels wrong. But she steals food off of my plate. And when I complain about it, she says, it's okay because we're basically the same person. So I pick up the phone. There's a text notification from the ex-boyfriend of one of her frenemies. I click that, and it's a very awkward brunch. I have no appetite. It takes us 30 minutes to get seated. We come home, and I ask her, I need to ask you something. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Emerson. In California, I believe, Queen Mary, we're starting off with 2 stories from warm states.
From warm states, yes.
We're going with
Yes.
warm states.
Yes, that's a good way to start. I
Go
think
with
warm
the
states.
right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
do have somebody here. I think one of our storytellers is actually in Canada, which, by the way, just, I know you know this, but not all of Canada is always cold.
That's true. It's
Some
not.
people might think that, but it is
Right.
not true. There are some, you know what I'm saying? We want to be not just a storytelling organization here. We're
Right.
educational.
Yes, we
We
are.
try to give you little moments of,
Of brilliance. And that's what just happened here, Sean.
Yeah.
Moments of brilliance.
not,
Yes.
so if your big takeaway this evening, not all of Canada is cold.
It's cold.
All right, let us move to Marie, who I'm not sure where Marie is. We'll find out later. I'm going to spotlight her. Marie, whenever you're ready, break a leg.
I'm from Minnesota.
Okay.
Start. 2 years ago. Oh my God, everything changed forever. I was on my way home from a vacation with my mother in Florida, and I got a call from my sister that Broadway had shut down. And I said, and all the sports teams are in the airport leaving. And as soon as I got home, I called, and I was supposed to be working at the Minnesota Opera, and it was a no-go. My life, my professional life as a stagehand had been effectively eliminated until further notice. Well, people were scrambling to be able to find yeast for bread. That was not a problem for me of Irish descent, because what I did is I made Irish soda bread. The best of the ingredients are the flour of your choice, brown raisins, golden raisins, and caraway seeds. And the secret ingredient was baking soda, not yeast. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie in Minnesota. Mary Jo, I'm Mary. Why do I keep calling Queen Mary Mary Jo? That is not the same person. Let us,
No.
Marie, we're gonna mute Marie so that she's got a lot of background noise going on there, dogs and phones ringing.
That's because I'm the Empress. Not
There you go.
Mary Jo, you may not do that. You may not do that. By the way, I don't know if it's me, it's pretty obvious perhaps to some that Marie was our first teller this evening where her first name and the state she lives in starts with the same letter.
Wow.
What
Sean.
I'm doing here is a gift. Do not try this.
No,
Do not try this
No.
at home, folks.
no. Your attention to detail, Sean. Your attention. to
Right?
detail.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
I need a little more validation before we move on, please.
I figured you did. So I'm trying to lift you up.
Thank
That's
you.
what we got to do in the world. Let's
We
get to
are,
California, Sean.
We're going
We're
back
going
out
back
to
to Cal-
California. Thank you for keeping me on point. Neshama Franklin is here. If we can find her, then we can spotlight. Oh, there she is.
Lovely Neshama.
Indeed. Okay, Neshama, break a leg.
When we moved into this old farmhouse, the only real source of heat was a wood stove. And it's a drag sometimes to make a fire. But I had a secret. In this majestic Westinghouse range, there was a heater in the side, and we'd use it if we didn't have time or the energy to make a fire. And it all worked great until that morning, chilly morning, not enough time to build a fire. And I was sitting on my futon, and all of a sudden I felt very weird and spacey, and I knew something was going on. And I groped for my cell phone and tried to punch in the numbers, but it didn't work. Like a dream when you try to scream and nothing comes out. But I had the presence of some kind of mind left to fall off the futon and crawl 8 yards to the landline where my Luddite mind still worked, and I punched in the numbers, not 911, but my cousin lives across the driveway who's an EMT, and she came galloping up the stairs because I had said, "Stove, help," and she turned off the stove and she threw open the window, and 5 hours later, with a lot of oxygen at the ER, I was okay. Now, I had thought of that Westinghouse range kind of as a household god, but I don't worship that god no more. You don't want one that might just kill you.
And that is a wrap on section 1, round 1 for storytellers. And Queen Mary,
Yes,
I do
darling.
not have any names that will not be summarized momentarily
Yay!
by you, which means all of those 4 names will be on a poll in a moment, and everybody, with the exception of B, Mary, and Shweta, will have an opportunity to vote. When you are ready, Mary,
I'm
please
ready.
summarize for everybody.
All right. Well, Walt learned in a corporate event that there is actually someone who makes chocolate penises or dicks on a stick. Emerson had an awkward brunch with his wife when he went through her phone and happened to find a text that wasn't so appropriate. Marie didn't have to worry about cooking with yeast. She knew the secret. It was baking soda. And Neshama almost had a household god of a stove kill her.
All right.
Too
So,
fast, Sean.
well,
Do you
just
need
let's
me-
go back to Neshama, just so everyone can make, you know that you're phenomenal at summarizing. I am not particularly good at listening. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people here can attest to that. So just with Neshama, what is a word or two I can put here for everyone?
Stove ER.
Great. That's enough. We're going to save that boy. We're going to launch this in just a moment. Everybody here, we've got 33 people. That means 30 people can vote. And I do hope you all vote.
Vote.
Again, we have Walt, Emerson, Marie, and Neshama, and we are launching the poll. Go vote.
You didn't use stick on a stick, huh? You went with chocolate penis. Too many words? Is it too many words, Sean? Oh,
Ooh. Ooh.
things are running away.
I think we have ourselves a winner. Can we get, we
Yeah.
have 2 more people that could technically vote. And again, what this means is the winner, we're not announcing yet, they will go to the second round.
Mhm.
We will have 3 sections, so 2 more sections where a winner will go to the second round. And then of those that did not win their section, a total of 2 more will go through. One
Mhm.
from Mary, the Queen, and the other from Shweta. We're going to end this poll now.
I think we should.
And we are clear that night. Of course, Queen Mary and Shweta both saw the winner.
Mhm.
Now it is time for us to pick 4 more names. We
4
will
more
have
names for
4
round.
more stories. And now you know, particularly if you've not been here before, how this is going to work. You can
Mhm.
put any information in the chat. Maybe you're not clear on stuff, but it looks like everybody's kind of
Yeah.
okay, which is
Yeah,
nice.
they're complimenting and uplifting and
Indeed, indeed.
Yes.
We've got 4 names out of the hat. Here we go. Hang
All
on
right.
one sec. We have got, hope you can see that.
Yep.
Pamela. This is the order they'll be telling their stories. Andrew. Mary Jo. Isn't this exciting?
It is so exciting.
And our Canadian Christel. Again, that is
Christel.
Christel. That is Pamela, Andrew, Mary Jo, and Christel. We are going to find Pamela. And when we do, we are going to spotlight her and she's going to unmute herself. And she's going to tell.
Here I am.
There you are.
Hey.
Pamela, let me spotlight you. Take your time. And when you're ready, Have some fun.
Thank you. High in the San Juan Mountains is the Wamanuchi Wilderness Area. And the closest town or civilization is at Vallecito Lakes. At Brinda's Market, every morning, all of the local old men gather for their gossip sessions and a cup of coffee about 7:30 in the morning. The highlight last summer was when my husband walked in and announced, "My wife killed a bear last night." Oh my goodness. Talk came to a stop and they said, "How did she do that?" And they said, "Odyssey 2010. Oh, it was quiet. Nobody said a word. And finally, one old geezer said, "Don't believe I'm familiar with that weapon." At that time, I walked through the door and I said, "I killed the bear last night." And they said, "What'd you use?" And I said, "My Honda Odyssey 2010. The bear weighed almost 500 pounds, totaled the van. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. We'll learn more about you, where you are in a little bit. Thank you very much. And also, by the way, someone just told me I'm looking blurry. Queen Mary, do I look blurry to you?
You look a little soft, you know what I mean? You're not crisp, totally crisp.
I get angry, disgruntled, frustrated, pissed off, slightly acerbic, but not blurry.
Okay.
But for our purposes, you don't really need to see me. You need to hear me, and people need to be able to see the warning, the 80-second warning, and they need to see their names. And I think you'll let me know if something's not working, please.
I will, of course.
Of course I know you will. Of course.
Hello.
And we're going to have a chance to learn a little bit more about our co-host, Queen Mary, and our guest judge at the break in between rounds 1 and 2, because they live very interesting lives. And they do a lot of storytelling, and they're involved in cool things. But right now, let us move back to your home state, Queen Mary.
Yes.
And Andrew Shelffo. He's got a nickname, but I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. Andrew, you are there. Unmute yourself. Break a leg, sir.
I'm sitting in my office and I'm thinking about something I've heard about a couple days earlier, that the #1 symptom for heart attacks in men is chest pain. And the #2 symptom is denial. So I think about that for a second and I stand up from my desk, and without saying a word to my staff, I walk out of the office, I get to my car and I drive to the emergency room. The staff at the hospital is very nice to you when you show up with chest pains. Very quickly, they have me in a treatment room. They hook me up to machines that beep and they start to ask me questions. They ask about my health, my family history. They ask about my job. I'm the PR director for a private school, and 3 days earlier, we got hit with a $75 million lawsuit about some allegations about teachers doing something inappropriate with children. Since then, I fielded calls from the newspapers, the television, faculty, alumni, parents, boarding parents, day parents, everybody. Board members are calling up with questions and also, even worse, I think, suggestions. News crews show up at 5 a.m. on campus, and I have to be there to meet them and make sure they don't bother our children. Now, I feel all alone, but there are a couple people who can help me. One is the school's attorney. His name is Harry Potter, and that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. I could also use my boss, but he's been named in the lawsuit, so he can't really talk to me about it. But I go to him anyway, and I tell him what's going on. And he smiles at me, and he packs his stuff in his briefcase, and he says, "Well, good luck with that." And then he walks out and he leaves me alone. About an hour after I get to the hospital, the doctor tells me it's just stress. Everything's going to be okay. And I drive back to the office, the place where I was just thinking about dying. And now I have to rethink what it means to make a living. Boom.
That was Andrew Shelffo we're not sure if he's in central Massachusetts or Western Massachusetts, Queen Mary.
I was going to say Western.
West.
He's in Western.
That was not an invitation to have a conversation. I'm just joking. Because when people tell me I look blurry, I get upset. I mean, wouldn't you?
Here you are, Sean. There you are. There you are.
There's Mac. There's the guy. Some were saying I was soft and sweet. I just spent a few hours in the sun and now, but I'm back.
Yeah, yeah.
Gnarly and snarky and acerbic Sean is back in action,
It's-
baby. Here we
It's
go.
wonderful.
So again, we already had section 1. We had 4 storytellers. We have a winner. We are in the middle of section 2. Pamela and Andrew have told stories. Next up, we're going from Massachusetts down yonder, over yonder to, I don't know what the actual nickname of the state is, but I'm going to call it the Cactus State. Her name is Mary Jo Pollack. I'm going to spotlight her. Mary Jo, unmute yourself, and we can hear your story whenever you're ready.
Hi, I have an appointment at 10. I'm Mary Jo Pollack. Oh, yes, Mary Jo. Okay, come here, Mary Jo. Oh, we're ready now, Mary Jo. Jo. Dead silence in the salon as everybody stares at me while I slip my toes into the warm water that's been prepared for my pedicure. I don't know what's wrong with wanting to be called your name. I introduce myself to people. Hi, I'm Mary Jo. Oh, Mary, nice to meet you, Mary Jo. I've been going through this my whole life. What's wrong with being called your right name? I mean, this just adds to all the rage that I've been feeling lately. So much rage that I'm almost afraid to go out in public. It's the second time in less than a week I've had an outburst. One day when I was at home and I just had all this building up inside me, I went in my toolbox and I got my biggest hammer out, and I started pounding as hard as I could on the floor. It's just cheap carpeting over cement. I didn't want to break anything and incur expenses, but I went back and I just kept hammering as hard as I could. And it felt really good, but not as good as I wanted it to. Boom.
Thank you, Mary Jo Pollack in Tucson. Another random fact. So one of the things that we know based on
It's the Grand Canyon State.
another person who feels like we're in the middle of a conversation. Maybe we should just make this the conversation slam show.
Wow.
Everybody just unmute and we'll have a conversation about random things. Mary Jo, thank you for correcting me because I do want to be educational. So far, our takeaways, Canada is not always cold.
No.
And the other one I was going to suggest, it was that Tucson is not as easy to spell as you might think. I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that.
Again, Sean, on point tonight. On point.
Thank you.
On point.
And I'm gonna in a moment introduce our 4th storyteller of round 1, section 2. And again, when this person, when she's done, we will do the summaries and the polls. If nobody went over, and I'll let them know. Let me introduce to you all Christel, and she is our Canadian, and we're going to spotlight her. Break a leg, Christel.
Over the past few weeks, I'm scrolling through social media and I notice a trend. A lot of women I see are getting bangs. This on, off again trend is coming back with a vengeance. And I think I want some. I mean, I am dying for a change. Is it the pandemic? I come across a tweet that reads, personally, I think wanting bangs is never about wanting bangs. And if you want bangs, you should seek therapy first. Yep, this speaks to me, and I've been dying to find a new therapist. I mean, bangs are polarizing. This hairstyle sits in the love it, hate it sector of the beauty world. One wrong snippet, this can end in disaster. I'm at the hair salon. I'm sitting in my stylist, Natalie's chair, and I tell her, I think I'm contemplating bangs. Do it, she says. What are you afraid of? And you keep bringing this up at every visit. And it's true. Every time I make these hair appointments, I do it with such confidence, only to back out with this change. I'm freaking out right now, having a panic attack. I mean, I don't need to do this, but before the pandemic and in my 20s and 30s, I feared nothing. And I feared nothing about hair. I had long hair, short hair, I had a bob, I had a buzz cut. I dyed my hair red, orange, brown, blue. We get to the end of the haircut and Natalie says, so should I do it? Are we going to cut the bangs? Fuck it, I say, do it right now before I change my mind. I walk out of the hair salon with this slightly new look and I realize it wasn't about the bangs at all. It was that I hadn't done anything in the past 2 years that freaked me out, just needed a little change. Take a photo, I post it on social media. Sometimes you got to take a little leap of faith. Boom.
Thank you, Christel. Wow. All right, Mary. So we had 4 storytellers. Was that 8 total bringing their A game this evening?
It's very true. They always come for it, Sean. They always come
have
for it.
always bringing their A game. We have
Always,
had
yep.
so far a couple of storytellers come incredibly, dangerously close to being over. But for section number 2, I breathe a sigh of relief that we did not have anyone who went over. Whenever you're ready, dramatic moment. Big pause here. Hang on. Wait for it. Whenever you're ready, Mary.
Okay.
Summarize.
I'm ready.
Okay.
So Pam uprooted and upset some folks in the morning gossip sessions when her hubby came in and announced that she had killed a bear with a Honda Odyssey. Andrew had to go to the ER, worried about chest pains, but it was just stress. And he had to figure out at the place he thought he was dying, how he was going to make a living. MJ, Mary Jo, got to keep that name right, because if not, it might upset her to the point where she'll take out a hammer and whack her carpet, but maybe not feel quite as much, feel better as she would like to. And Christel took a big risk with hair, and I can speak for ladies, that's a big risk, because after the pandemic and 2 years later, you had to do something a little bit different.
As always, a great job summarizing.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
How about you pull it up?
I'm trying something new with this poll, because again, everybody just heard these stories and they heard your summary. I'm giving the name and I just put one word next to it. I hope that works.
Oh,
I think it's fair. I think I did try to do a fair job. Let me find our round 1, section 2. Again, we have Pamela, Andrew, Mary Jo, and Christel. Please vote, everybody. 31, up to 31 people can vote right now.
Let's do it, y'all.
Very close.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very close. Very close. Everyone needs to vote because it's very, very
Wow.
close.
It is, guys. It's really close.
All right. I think, yep, all but one person has voted, and the winner, we will not tell you who that is just yet,
No.
has enough of a cushion where we can end this poll. I usually like to give it a little more time, but it's not going to make a difference. So we are going to end it. That was a close one, wasn't it?
It was. It was crazy.
Close one, wasn't it? Which means we have 3 more names that I'm going to pull out in a moment. I will tell you the order in which they're telling. We will have one more poll, and then we will have, let's say, like a maximum of like what, a 4 or 5 minute little intermission.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it sounds wonderful.
We'll chat a little bit.
Yeah.
We will have an opportunity to get to know more about the storytellers just after the winner is announced. We usually do a sort of post-event hangout, salon, Q&A, call it what you want. So you're invited to do that. We love people hanging out. Our final 3 storytellers from the Peruvian Hat in this order. They've been very patient.
They have been.
Whoops. And by the way, I did let everyone know this was your last chance to tell a story. So we are done. The last section has a slight advantage because there's only 3, but such a way with odd numbers. Jonathan, Carolyn, and finally, Angela. We are going to find Jonathan. We are going to spotlight him. And Jonathan, when you're ready, unmute yourself, and we want to hear your story.
I think the word is apophenia, to see meaningful connections in unrelated things. And I could be accused of this, but I don't know. So I've been cultivating these Wordle rivalries between my wife and son and Murphy's mom in the sophomore class at Falls City High School. And I usually get the word, but not as quick as my wife and son and Murphy's mom and the sophomore class at Fall City High School. And last week I was introduced to a new game called Global by Pat. And I've introduced this to a few people and the freshman class at Fall City High School. And yesterday I was walking with my son in Central Oregon, and he picks up a coin. And he picked up a coin from a country I've never been to. And I hadn't thought about that country until, about an hour ago when I had done the Wordle puzzle of that day. And he picked up a coin, and it was from Argentina. And I think I found my new global rival, and I might be an apophenist. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Out in the Pacific Northwest, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
We got people in all the different time zones, which I love. We've got a couple. We actually have, check this out, Mary. We have 3 different countries here. 3.
Woo! It's fabulous.
Maybe more, but I know for sure. The United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
Canada. It doesn't have 3 words like we have. It's just Canada.
Canada.
That's it. There's 1 word.
Do you know what it is?
And Mexico. 1 word.
1
Easy,
word.
isn't it?
It is easy.
A little bit. Why do we have so many words?
Because we like to make things complicated, Sean. That would take a while to talk about.
That's our second storyteller of Section 3 has been waiting patiently. She's probably thinking,
Yes.
stop talking and let me go already. Here we are.
What else?
Her name is Carolyn. We're going to
Sean.
spotlight her. Yes.
No 80-second warning with Carolyn.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Done. Carolyn, whenever you're ready, break a leg.
I'm 7 years old, and my 11-year-old neighbor, Tommy Will, has just found under a bush in my front yard the mail that I've stolen from everyone on the street. I started stealing 3 days ago. It's fun. Look at the house, take the mail, put it under the bush, do it again. After 3 days, the grown-ups realize they're not getting mail. Somebody must be taking it. Nobody thinks it's me. I'm the good girl on the street. We play school and I'm the teacher, and I really like being the good girl. The mothers blame Susie Quell. She lies and her parents drink and they scream at each other late at night. It must be her. Well, I know it's not her, but I can't say it's me. They all think I'm the good girl. Well, now Tommy has told on me and I'm so scared. My parents are mad. They want to know what I was thinking and I have no idea. But I have to take the mail back 1 house at a time and say, I'm sorry. And the grown-ups are nice. They tell me I'm learning an important lesson. Some of them say, you're a good girl. You just made a mistake. Whoa, I can rob mail and still be the good girl? Wait, I can rob mail and still be the good girl? What is a good girl? Could Susie Quell get away with this? Now I'm really confused.
Ooh, all right. That was Carolyn down in Mexico. No boom. Sometimes you hear boom at the end of stories. It's just the way we sometimes let people know it's over. But in this case, Carolyn just did more of a physical. I don't need to say anything else. We're done.
I'm done. I may have done it.
I'm done here.
Yeah.
We have got one more storyteller in round 1. She's been waiting patiently. We're going back to your Commonwealth,
The Commonwealth, yes.
Mary, which is a whole other thing. I'm curious. I'm a little confused about.
So I know. We had to be different.
Why? How many Commonwealths are there in the United States of America?
I think there's 2.
What's the other one?
I think is it Virginia?
Look at all the Commonwealthers putting their hands up.
I don't know.
Pennsylvania's a Commonwealth.
All right. You know
We'll
what's
have to
not
look.
yeah. You know what's not a Commonwealth? Almost everywhere else. Let us go on. Angela is in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I believe she's our final storyteller of round 1. Angela, when you're ready, break a leg.
In a couple of weeks, I'm going to Portugal. And so I'm doing the thing that I always do, which is try to learn a little bit of the language. I've got the words for apple and bread and man and woman and car down. I can't yet ask how to get to the bathroom. That'll come later or not, because I'm not really good at language. And if you're going to ask me a question in Spanish, I might turn around and answer you in really bad high school French. A few years ago, I went to Peru and I was out in the afternoon. I was hot. I was tired because it was late in my trip and the altitude was starting to get to me. And so I sat down on a bench at a bus stop. A few minutes later, an old man came and sat down next to me and he started to talk. And I realized this isn't even Spanish. This is Quechua. I can't even answer in bad French. And so I go, he leans over and he puts his hand on my knee and then he picks up my hand and he points at the back of it. And then he points at the sun. And then he points at his own hand, which is brown and wrinkled, and he points up at the sky again. And I realize he's trying to tell me I am way too pasty to be out in the South American sun in the afternoon. And he is right. And so we laugh and we continue the conversation with just gestures and expressions. And then the bus comes. He goes to get on it and he turns and he waves to me. I might try to learn Portuguese, but if I fail, at least I know that the best conversation I've ever had when I'm traveling actually didn't include any words at all. Thanks.
Thank you, Angela. Queen Mary, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to summarize those three storytellers. They were all at or under the time limit. And then we will have a 5-minute break. In that time, people can go do whatever they want to do, which, by the way, they're already doing.
Of course.
But that's like the formal time. And we'll chat a little bit, and we will, I want to learn a little bit more about what Queen Mary's up to and what Shweta's up to, if they want to share.
Sure.
But there's no, it'll be what it is. Now hang on, let me get to the poll. Whenever you're ready, we've got 3 stories that you're going to summarize, please.
We do. All right. So Jonathan learned how to not only do Wordle, but global, and a quarter on the ground that his son found helped him figure out the next challenge. Carolyn, she was worried about being the good girl on the street. And even though she stole mail for a little while, she found out she could still steal mail and be the good girl on the street because her reputation carried her out of trouble. And Angela said the best conversation she ever had didn't have any words.
What would you use to describe Jonathan's in 1 word or 2?
I guess Wordle and global.
Okay. That should be enough. Again, everyone just
Yeah.
heard the stories.
They did.
And we're going to have those 3. And hang on one sec. And everyone's going to vote.
Okay.
I'm probably going to get myself a whiskey at the break, which means you're going to have to carry this shit. You're going to carry this for the next couple minutes.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Was I supposed to tell people that? Or is this something I should do and not let anyone know?
No, that's fine. I think everybody wants to know what you're doing, Sean. When you walk away and then I am talking, they're like, no, we want to hear from Sean. They
No,
don't hear
I'm
from me.
pretty sure you could not be more incorrect.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We'll see.
Final section of round 1. We have got Jonathan and Carolyn and Angela. And we could get 31 people to please vote right now. All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's give it another 15 seconds or so. And we have a few people that have not voted. All right, we're going to give it up to 30. I think we can stop. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Why do I keep Queen Mary is Queen Mary. Mary Jo's one of our storytellers. The tellers, by the way, check the chat. There's a lot of lovely words sent your way. And if by chance there's an ugly word being sent your way, just ignore them.
Oh, yeah.
Because sticks and stones may break your bones, but words totally fuck you up for like ever. Forever. Don't believe that bullshit.
Sean.
That they hurt bad.
Sean.
If I had any chance of ever making this onto a network, I now just screwed it up because of my potty mouth.
Well,
that was going to happen anyway.
We're going to have to be on cable, Sean. We're just going to have to be on cable.
All right, so now it is now 7:50. At 7:55, we will announce who is going on to the second round. This would be a good time for you to, I don't know, just take a few minutes, go for a walk, stretch, tell your spouse you love them, tell your kids you, I don't know, what do I know? I don't have kids. Just do something nice. Get a drink, go to the bathroom. In the meantime, we're going to keep chatting here of nothing of consequence. I mean, it's of consequence because Shweta and Queen Mary do interesting things, and I want to hear more about them. Before you all talk about your cool stuff, I want to let everyone know, and I think a lot of people here already know this, that I'm single. No, I'm just kidding. Next Sunday, we have the Mental Health Happy Shower, which is an ongoing open mic. You're all welcome to tell a story, and I let you define what you think a sort of mental health centered story is. Open mic, you just come and you tell your story. I'd like to believe it's a safe space. The week after that, we have something called Flash, which is a little improv and a little story, and we have musical themes, and that one will be Motown. I mean, come on,
right?
Motown Flash. And then the following Sunday, there's actually a live in-person event I'm co-producing with Sharon Eisner, who's here now.
Hey, Sharon.
It's a fundraiser for Ukraine. We've connected with a really cool nonprofit, and we've got some storytellers locally. That'll include me, Sharon, Kat Dean, who some of you know, and a couple of others. And we will have some people telling stories that are pre-recorded. And if you have an interest in doing that, I will be sharing more at the end of this show. If you have maybe an interest in yourself in submitting a story, we want stories. So I'll tell more about that. That's enough about me. Queen Mary, we have a few more minutes before we announce.
Okay.
Would you share with everyone what you've been up to, including your journey down to Virginia?
Yeah, I was going to say I was in the Women's Storytelling Festival, so you can see that recording. I think there's still a chance to buy tickets to see the recordings of everybody. There was all kinds of stories there. I told 2, so if you wanted to see that. So super fun. And, I'm also just in my business. I'm going to be at a conference teaching tarot in Salem, Massachusetts for folks in Massachusetts. You can come visit. That'll be fun. It's the Witch City Tarot Gathering. So yeah.
Ooh, all sorts of stuff. You're not just you're not just the Queen co-host.
No.
You're traveling to tell stories, and you do all that other stuff of your life, which is that whole other thing.
That whole other space.
Big thing. It's not a small
big thing. Yes. So that's what I'm doing. Hey, you forgot to mention Deja True.
We don't have one planned yet. We do have an event. We've had 4 of them where we do a sort of unique style of braided stories. Some people on here have done that. We haven't scheduled the next one, but we will. And of course, we'll announce it. In the meantime, I'm going to ask Shweta to share with us a little bit because she's our guest judge. And Queen Mary, you need to send me something while Shweta's doing that. Shweta, dear, what are you? Shweta, dear.
Wow.
Wow. What are you up to?
Well, I just, like Queen Mary, premiered on Stories from the Stage on the World Channel. So some, Massachusetts representation right there. And this Thursday, I don't know if anybody is in the greater Boston area, but I am launching my inaugural supper club and night of stories called Shoes at the Door.
Ooh.
Yes, and there are still seats available if you want to drive to Waltham, Massachusetts.
Shweta, there are some people here who are not far from Waltham.
I know that. And I would love to have you if you can come. But there will be home cooked food, just some good conversation, some good story, probably a good playlist, just a space that feels good, feels safe, and you never have to question whether or not you belong there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is there anything else we should know about that event? Like if somebody's on the fence, what's going to happen? Because it is a very interesting idea.
Yeah. What do you mean on the fence?
Like they might want to go, but they're not sure.
I say do it.
Well, I'm saying is what is going to actually be happening at that event?
Well, right. Like I said, there's going to be food. Yeah. They're going to be about it's a small group. So max of like 12 people.
All right.
And you don't have to share. You can just come and listen too. But yeah, I think the theme of this Shoes at the Door will be it'll be all about here. So I'll just leave it at that.
H-E-R-E or here?
No, H-E-R-E, like here.
Like here and now.
Yes. Mhm.
Presence.
Presence. Yes.
Being here.
Yes.
But it's cooler to use one word, especially if it's one syllable. I love that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
grit or here or dope.
Mhm.
Some people say dope. I don't.
Yeah, that's exactly
No.
it. Actually.
I'm definitely not getting picked up by a big network, Queen Mary.
We'll have to polish it a little bit, Sean. We can talk about it. That's fine.
7:55, which means we will announce the 5 people going through. And of course, thank
Yes.
everybody for being here, all the tellers. And then we will continue. And we're, look, 11 storytellers. So we're going to be out and done by about 8:15.
Wow.
Would love if you want to hang out a little bit and talk shop and get to know people a little bit. In no particular order, the 5 storytellers who are moving through to round 2 and will have a chance to be the champion are Andrew, Angela, Carolyn, Christel, Neshama. Those 5 are going to the second round. And that means, I believe, I thought we all had all women, but we have one guy. Shouldn't matter. Doesn't matter. I just noticed 4 women, 1 guy. I think there's more women in storytelling than men. I think there might be more women involved. I'm not sure either. Unlike round 1, I don't let the storytellers know in advance the order in which they're telling. The names go into the hat. I mix them up a little bit. Just want to make sure that they are all here and ready. And they all know, by the way, that this second story, it obviously is not the same story. So if they said the same story now, that's not going to cut it.
Nope.
New story. So all the storytellers came with 2 stories.
Yes.
Let me share with you all our first storyteller of round number 2, and that is going to be Neshama Franklin in California. Break a leg, Neshama.
So I live on a compound with a lot of buildings and a number of tenants. And I'm a really laissez-faire landlady. And there was this squabbling couple. And the guy saw an open bay, a garage possibility. And he said, can I do something with that? And I said, sure. So he put a kind of a wall and a door and some windows in it. And he retreated there. He called it Consolation Cottage, so he could get away from the warring partner. And thank God they left. But now we had this really sweet, funky space. This was a long time ago before Airbnb. And we said, well, put people up who want to pass through. And it was all utterly delightful until that couple drove all the way across from Florida into a Northern California summer. They were cold. They were grumpy. We showed them how to use the wood stove, and we went downtown to have dinner, and they went downtown to have dinner. And then we heard sirens, and somebody said, your place? And we rushed back, and Consolation Cottage was in flames. They hadn't put the cover on the wood stove. They had left the logs sticking out. Now it's no more. The tenants who have been there, including a couple of my relatives, they've been there a long, long time. And that's what I'm going to stick with. No more one-night stands for me.
Thank you, Ms. Neshama Franklin. She lives on a commune, Queen Mary.
Wow.
Or compound. Did I say compound or commune?
You said commune, but is it compound?
Yeah, I mean, some communes are compounds and vice versa.
That's true.
But I do believe, based on our story, that it was a compound.
Compound.
Right.
There we go.
Indeed.
Again, educational.
And we're here to educate. We're here to teach
Yeah.
things that you would never find elsewhere.
True.
Yeah, we speak the truth. What?
We do.
Okay.
What? No.
We try the best we can to be not boring.
No, we certainly aren't boring, Sean. I don't think anybody would describe us as boring.
Our second storyteller this season, second storyteller round 2. By the way, this is season 6, slam number 2. We started in August of 2020,
Mhm.
and we have just kept going.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Thank you all for coming back.
Indeed. Thanks, everyone.
Mhm.
Next up, Christel Bartelse in Toronto, Canada. It's cold up there. All right, Christel, whenever you're ready.
Every time my dad calls me, my heart stops. I mean, every time I have multiple missed calls from my dad, my heart stops. That's because my dad and I, although we're quite close, he rarely calls me. But in the past 2 years, on the 3 occasions he's tried to get a hold of me, it always happens to be when I'm teaching a class, either in person or online. And he's always trying to get a hold of me with bad news about my mother. The first phone calls came 2 years ago. I walk out of my class. I have multiple missed calls. I call my dad back and I say, "What's up?" "Well, your mom has just been in a horrible accident and she's being rushed to the hospital." Now, my mom has made a recovery, but this was extremely stressful and traumatic and did prompt my husband and I to go live with my parents at the beginning of the pandemic. A year later, to the date, I'm teaching a class online. When I look at my phone, more missed calls. I call my dad, who tells me my mom tripped, broke her wrist, and is now in the hospital getting a cast on. And just 4 weeks ago, I'm 10 minutes into my in-person class. I pull out my phone to play some music for the students when I see 7 missed calls from my dad. "Talk amongst yourselves," I say to the students. I run out of the class. I frantically call my dad. I'm like, "Dad, I'm teaching. What's up?" "Your mom had another accident. She's in the hospital. She has a severe concussion." Now, my mother would hate me telling you this story because she's actually a really put together woman who's quite classy, and she's not clumsy. She's just had terrible bad luck. But now I get my dad to call me multiple times a week just to say hi. And if I can't answer, I have him leave me a message that says, "Everything's fine."
Thank you. Boom. Christel. A lot of people get her name wrong, Mary, but I won't. It's Bartelse, if you're curious. Don't try to butcher people's names. It's not
No.
right at all.
No, I get that. I get that.
I had teachers that would call me Scene. Come on.
Really?
Yeah, and you got to know that it's Sean. Who's saying Scene? Right?
Oh, that hurts.
Another slam with a lot of really good stories.
Amazing stories.
Great stories.
As
We're only gonna have
usual.
one winner. We're only gonna have one winner. And we do have second rounders. And and I appreciate everybody who's sticking around,
Yes,
especially
thank
the
you.
competitive types. I get it. I get it. But this will be just like our other sections where at the end, if everyone was at or under time, Mary will summarize and then we'll have a winner. And you vote on the winner, which is fun.
It's very exciting.
We are going to pick our third storyteller. We're going to move it right along.
Do it.
We're going down to Mexico. 3 countries, 3 tellers. We'll find Carolyn. I'm not going to give her an 80-second warning at her request. Spotlight you, Carolyn. Unmute yourself and break a leg.
I didn't want to come to this psychic. My friend talked me into it with the promise of lunch, and it really is hokey. Beaded curtain, dark room, a toad of a psychic, $1 a minute. And at the end of the 30 minutes, I know nothing new. I'm about to pay the psychic when he asked me about the guy. What guy? The guy in the room. He's wearing Harley Davidson clothes. He met you on his way to the motorcycle rally in Sturgis. He's crossed over, but he's never forgotten about you. Do you know him? I look around, I don't see anybody, but yeah, I kind of know him. I knew him for 20 minutes, like 20 years ago. The family vacation, the biker traffic, the breakfast at the diner, the guy at the next table. And yeah, I talked to him, I'm friendly. And he offered to give me a ride on the back of his bike to the next town. My kids said, "Yeah, Mom, do it." My husband's face said no, and so did I. It was nothing, really. It was a conversation, an invitation. I said no. But now I'm freaked. The psychic couldn't have known about this. Is he really in the room? Is this real? I can't breathe. I got to get out of the room. I pay the psychic. I practically ran out the door. The daylight is so strong and I'm feeling dizzy. I see my friend and I really need lunch. Boom.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn in Mexico. Queen Mary, we had Neshama in California, Christel in the Toronto land of Canada, and Carolyn, who's not in Mexico City, by the way. She's in the mountains, I believe, in
Yes.
the lovely country of Mexico. Yes. So yeah, we only got two more.
Wow.
And in a I don't know, 4, 6, maybe 8 weeks at some point, and I'll announce it. We'll have another slam. We'll have another slam. We're not doing them quite as often as we were doing them because like people are getting back to their lives, but we will keep this going for as long as we can.
Yeah.
We might move the time back a little bit just to accommodate for the West Coasters a little bit.
Of course.
Our second to last storyteller this evening, we're going back up to your general neck of the woods, Mary. We're going to find Angela.
Angela.
And we are going to spotlight her. And then she's going to tell us a story. Take a leg, Angela.
Few years ago, I was dating a music professor. And one night we were sitting around talking about our childhoods and our upbringings and the kind of music that we grew up listening to. And I was telling him that at my grandparents' house, if the TV was on, it probably meant that Hee Haw was on. And my grandfather would sometimes play records. He really loved the Carter family singers. That's not Jay-Z and Beyonce, that's Mama Maybelle and June, who later went on to marry Johnny Cash. And, you know, we were talking about the kind of music we love now. I love rock and roll. And he said, well, I think it's really interesting, though, that your grandfather is the architect of your musical taste. And my jaw hit the ground. I didn't see it. I always thought that the thing that I liked, rock and roll, was something other than what I grew up listening to. But the more I thought about it, the ballads on Hee Haw, they actually do have a lot in common with, say, a Springsteen song, which I love. So the next time I went back to Pennsylvania, I did something with my grandfather that I always do. I give him my iPad and I set up his favorite songs. His favorite is one called May I Sleep Tonight in Your Barn, Mister. And it's a song about infidelity and child abduction and homelessness. It's very cheerful. His second favorite song is called Wreck on the Highway. Now, Bruce Springsteen also has a song, Wreck on the Highway, 2 different wrecks on 2 different highways. So I played him both of them. And I said, Pop, what do you think? And he said, nah, that Springsteen one, it was okay, but I like mine better. And I thought, same, Pop, same. Thanks.
All right, Angela. Wow. All right. So Angela's story, Queen Mary, was the 15th, I believe, of a total of 16 stories that people will have heard when our final storyteller of the evening goes. And by the way, our final storytelling of the evening lives not that far from Angela. It just worked out that our final 2 storytellers are almost neighbors.
I know.
You cannot script this stuff.
No, we don't. It's just magic.
I would have used that word, but I'll accept it. Andrew is here. Want to thank everyone again, and we will launch a poll after Andrew goes. We're going to spotlight him. Andrew, have some fun, sir.
It's a warm and humid summer evening, and I'm running a 5K race. Now, I'm a runner and I run a lot of races. I'm not very good at it. I don't win, but someone once told me, like, man, you runners, you never stop. And that's what I'm thinking about as I'm running the race. And this night I'm running even slower than usual because it's a course that goes through the woods. So it's on trails and I don't really like running on trails. But even though I'm running slow, I feel good because I had a really good nap earlier in the day. I had such a good nap. It was really unexpected. It was one of those things that just kind of sneaks up on you. And this is one of the things they never tell you about when you have a colonoscopy. Yeah, it's all the stuff in the beginning about clearing yourself out, but the actual procedure, when they put you under, oh, what a great nap it was. So as I'm in the middle of this 5K, I feel myself getting a little bit stronger, even if my stomach is really, really painful at the moment. And the other reason I'm feeling strong, the other secret I have is that beside me is the woman who took care of me all day long. She drove me to the procedure. She was there when I woke up, and she encouraged me to do this 5K, even though it was the day of my colonoscopy. And then she did something for me that I honestly would never do for her in a million years. She let me cross the finish line in front of her. So even though I know I wasn't going to win the race, I really did win because I had the woman beside me that I needed at that time. Boom.
That was Andrew Shelffo. I thought I was muted, Andrew. I apologize if I was making noise and it screwed you up.
You did. You screwed
Usually,
me up.
I'm so not perfect, which is also a shock to everyone here, I'm sure.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, no, don't. That's
No,
not the
it's
time.
better. I'm not going to comment. No.
You could tweet something, but don't say it.
All right. I'll get right on that.
We are, nobody went over time. Great. So the
Yay.
5 round 2 storytellers, we're going to summary, we're going to launch a poll. And then before we announce the winners, I'm going to ask Sharon Eisner to come on just for a little bit and share with us a little more about our project that we're very excited for and ways that you can help out or support, which could be submitting a story. You can also make a donation. Hang on one sec, Queen Mary. I have got I am ready to go if you are ready to go with the summaries.
I'm ready. Well, luckily the oven did not kill Neshama. However, it turns out that the oven took down one of the cottages at her place. Christel was getting calls from her dad about bad news with her mom, but has now had her dad call just sometimes to say hi and everything is okay. Carolyn went to a psychic that freaked her out because a 20-minute conversation with a biker came back to haunt her. Angela made the connection with rock and roll and hee-haw songs with her pops, and Bruce Springsteen was kind of okay. And Andrew ran a 5K at the same day he got a colonoscopy, but the person who saw him through not only saw him through at his colonoscopy, but let him cross the finish line first.
I'm just letting you all know in advance because I want to make sure I get this right. I've got one word for each of them. Again, I went back to my old system. What's Andrew's one word, Queen Mary? I'm putting you on the spot.
5K?
5K it is. Everyone just heard the stories. They heard your summaries.
Yeah.
This is just a little icing on the cake. We'll have everyone vote. And then, we want to milk this as long as we can. So we'll ask Sharon to come on for a minute.
Yeah.
Put a link in if people want to learn more. But let's do the vote now while we have everyone here. And again, we want to thank everybody for being great storytellers.
Yes.
Great audience. And let us vote for your season 6 Slam 2 winner right now.
Do it. Look at it go.
That'd be really close.
Yeah, guys, there's no runaway here. You got to vote. They're all so good. That's the thing.
3 more people can vote. We keep our final poll open as long as we can, because we want to make sure everybody has a chance. Sometimes people might have, gone to the bathroom or done something. So we'll leave it open for another 20 seconds or so. It is a 2-person race here. And I think 28, we've got 15 more seconds. If you haven't voted, please do that. It can make a difference, I think.
Yeah,
maybe
it
mathematically challenged. 5 seconds. We're going to end this poll. We do have a winner. Right. We will only announce the winner. If you are curious and you want to know what kind of where you were in that final poll, I can share it with you privately, but we're just going to announce the winner. Before I do that, real quick, hang on. May 1st, North Carolina hybrid event, in-person storytellers, and I'm calling them satellite tellers. I don't know if that makes sense. I like the word.
I like it.
It's kind of a funky new event. Sharon was Sharon's idea, and she also found the nonprofit. So Sharon, I'm giving you a maximum of 99 seconds to tell us about this event. I am timing you.
So it's so hard to watch the news. I know you all know that. For me, it has a particular resonance because my ancestry on one side is Ukrainian, but for everyone, it's just so hard to feel helpless. And so that's why I originally asked Sean if we could do a fundraiser, and he just dove right in, got performers. He's in charge of the performance part of it, and I'm in charge of the fundraiser part of it. So this is what I want to tell you. If you are presenting, yay. If you'd like to present, yay. Otherwise, you are very welcome to donate. I think, Sean, could you put the link in the chat, please? We are just
let
me, what?
I just want everyone to know, for the time being, even if you want to donate, it's still through the same ticketing place.
Right.
I'm using Ticket Leap. It's made it the most easy for us, just so you know that. Yeah, I'll stop talking.
And yeah, if you donate, you just write one ticket, and you could write the amount that you want, and then we invite someone who can't pay. So so it all gets worked out. And also, just to let you know, the group that we're going with is Razum for Ukraine, or Razum, but what they do is they send medical supplies, much needed medical supplies, and they help with evacuation aid. And in this time where we see so much darkness, we are just trying to be a little bit of light. And our stories are themed around hope and being a light in the darkness. And we want more people who are going through this to be able to be alive to tell their stories. So we're just trying to help a little bit. If anybody would like to contribute, you're very welcome to. And the link will also be on the GRIT page, because it's a GRIT sponsored event. Thank you.
Wow, under time. Mary, you want to give a summary, or do we need to not do that? There's no voting anymore. You can't vote on Sharon. That was just the thing Sharon was sharing about the event. I put the link in there. Yeah, everyone should see it. It's great. Ticket Leap, Ukraine. We would love the support. It's going to go to them. It's cool if it goes through us, because we look like we're super badass people. Before we announce the winner, it looks like someone has a question. Marie, yes. And then we announce the winner.
Comment. Hit the link and see Supergirl Ukrainian.
Oh yeah, she's a badass. Sharon found that. Sharon found. Yeah, you found that, right?
It's street art in Warsaw, Poland. There has been street art just popping up around this, so that might be part of our presentation as well. We might have that projected. But isn't that beautiful?
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
It's really cool. It's a cool mural. Hey, audience, thank you. Hey, Mary, Queen Mary, thank you.
Yes,
Jonathan, Mary, Jo, Pamela, Marie, Emerson, Walt, Andrew, Angela, Carolyn, Christel, and Neshama. Thank you. Without further ado, our guest judge, Shweta Bhatt, former winner, by the way, is going to tell you all who the winner of this evening is. Shweta?
Yes, thank you everybody for your stories. And the winner, I got a little distracted by my face. The winner of
yes, the spotlight, yes. Who is it?
Yes, the winner of tonight is Mr. Andrew Shelffo.
Mr. Andrew Shelffo. Two very, very good stories, a very competitive group. As always, they come, they represent, they somehow manage to put stories together in such a short period of time. And they make them what? What do we want in stories? You want them to be engaging and relatable and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And this group does an amazing job. This group does an amazing job.
And it keeps getting better. So I will keep you all abreast, of course, of the upcoming events, including the 99-second slam. Reach out to me. And and in a moment, you know what? We're going to formally end it. I'm going to thank everyone. We're going to have Andrew come on and take a bow. Andrew, you want to take a bow? Here we go. I'm going to spotlight you and take a bow, and then we're going to stop the recording. That's your bow. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to stand up to take a bow. But thanks, Sean, for putting this together. It's always a great event, and I love participating in every time it happens. And it's really wonderful to win. So I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity.
And there's no bow.
No bow.